Looking, try to get my video started. I don't know why we can't.
Yeah, can we get the video?
Let's go, guys. Monday morning. Wake up.
I'm on two different Slacks. All right,
There we go.
Oh, I got to get the video too. Ugly Monday. It's a big Monday. Donkey Land's got long some calls Friday in the bloodbath.
Let's go, Lance. How you doing, bro?
I got my
No cigar this week?
I got my colada. I feel like I'm in Miami. I had a latte earlier, actually, because the regular coffee messed up, and then I went back to the guy and I was like, I need something stronger.
So it's been. Go ahead.
I just saw Nancy in the chat. We gotta say hi to Nancy.
Hello, Nancy. Let's go. We're ready. Yeah, I've been up. I've been up watching these futures up. So typically what we've seen, we're gonna have some fun. We usually start this show talking a little smack, recouping some of the highlights of the weekend. We keep it light, and then we build in the seriousness and the crescendo into the open, getting much more into the meat of the markets. But market's looking up this morning. Usually I wake up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. You see the futures up a lot more, and then they fade into the open. But we're kind of holding serve so far. So
what's interesting, Jeff, is all the donkeys out there in the media, even Kramer, he came out with a note yesterday. It was on CNBC, because Kramer's got like like a actionable alert plus that's down like 1,000,000% this year and stuff. He buys stocks only. He buys like AMD, Nvidia.
He loves every stock after it ripped like 20%. Right. And then in a bear market, that's where you're supposed to sell. He hates them.
Right. So he came out yesterday and it was on CNBC and he goes, sell all stocks. Oh, so then he had to clarify it. And he goes, every time there's a green day, sell all your stocks. So I was like, if he's saying this, I was like, man, I'm going to buy.
But he's got to have he's got to be a little more nuanced. Like we're sitting here and we're always like, we're in a bear market. These are some, like, that's what I'm going to go through in a minute. Once we get through the chat, we're going to show some levels. We're going to plot the week. We've got big economic numbers. We got massive like real earnings. I know you hate bank earnings. I know you think it's like kissing your sister.
They don't move. Bank stock move on earnings.
It's like having a tie in soccer. It's not what you're looking to do. It's not. It's no fun, right? But we got some fun stocks coming this week. We got Netflix, Tesla. It's starting to open up the game a little bit, right? So we'll look at that in a minute. But I'm going to ask you about your weekend first, because I'm always interested. We see people that have never seen this show. The idea of this show was that I talked to Lance, like we're buddies. So I talked to him Monday morning and we do this talk where we would just like, did you see this football game? Blah, blah, blah. And then we get into the meat and then we get into the business. Then we get down to the business. So what I was like, this is such a golden conversation. Why don't we make this a show? So let's try to keep that natural. I went to FSU this weekend. I took my family to Tallahassee, which is where I went to college, to watch Florida State play Clemson in a college football game, which was pretty crazy. They kicked our ass. I mean, they're better. It's
not about the football though. When you
no. It's not about that. But it was an eye opener, boy. I mean, I feel like in my head, I feel like in my head, I'm still like
in college.
I'm still that dude, right? Like I'm still him. I'm still him. You know what I'm saying? But in reality, I've got 3 children in tow, 3 small kids. I got the wife of 16 years. And I can't hang. I can't hang, bro. I mean, I used to go in strapped with like 5 or 6 Jim Beams. You get these big Cokes.
Oh, yeah.
And now, like my wife, she's like, what are you doing? I pulled out one of these little nippers. She's like, you're an adult. You're a grown man. What are you doing?
You can go buy a drink.
Yeah, you can buy. What are you doing? And I'm like, no, it's fun to smuggle these little things in and you pour it in the Coke. Whatever. But
pour it in the big Coke you paid $12 for and stuff. Thinking you're a college kid, like, yeah, I'm gonna get a buzz.
But it's funny when you look over and you look at your kids, and then they look at you and they're like discovering their father. They're discovering their dad. They're like, oh shit, my dad's that guy.
This is not the dad I see playing golf on Sundays.
Oh, it's fun. It's fun. Life is good. You have to enjoy life, even in a bear market, Lance. So what'd you do?
Oh man, dude, my weekend was pretty wild. So my buddy is dating this Hungarian girl. So we call them the Hungarians. They all live in Sarasota. And the Hungarians that live in Sarasota, they all come from lots of money because that's why they're here. And they're all huge Trump supporters and conspiracy theorists. It's the because you have to understand they left Hungary and over there because it's so
I'm
bad.
down. I'm good with conspiracies have all come to be true lately. So
right.
I'm not gonna knock these people.
And they like to drink. They drink like this, 100 proof Hungarian peach weird. Anywho, so we're at the Ritz-Carlton celebrating one of the guy's birthday and his divorce because after like 3 years, they all get divorced because they get the citizenship. Like they asked me to marry one of the Hungarians, and they were going to pay me like 200. Was it 200 or 250K to get married for 3 years? But she had to live with me, so I said no. It started like around 50K, and they kept working up. But I went out in Sarasota, downtown. Man, I always say this: if I was like 50, 55, 60, something like that, and was looking to retire, I'd move to Sarasota. I mean, it's like Bentleys, Ferraris, everywhere on the strip. It's so nice. So many nice older ladies. I met a doctor lady at the Ritz-Carlton. We're drinking cocktails. She's telling me about all her plastic.
What's that circle called? What's that street called?
St. Armand Circle.
I was there. I tied my dog. I went to some restaurant. We tied our dog, and some Karen came yelling at us. And I'm like, listen, lady, like, calm down. Dog's under a tree. A little bit. A little bit. It was a little bit like condo commando-ish for me. I'm a little bit, I don't know. I like to do things my way a little bit, but
there's no crime. Like people have their Bentley convertible, keys in the car. It's just so nice. I looked for real estate there in Longboat Key about a year or so ago, and I thought it was crazy expensive, and it's only gone up. But I did my Sarasota life, Tommy Bahama life. It was good, and it was a
WH said I look like a thug. I don't feel like a thug. I feel like a gentleman. I mean, I'm old school.
You look like a golf thug playing overseas, getting that $10 million tournament paycheck. How about that?
I'm a suburban father of three. That's what I am. But I've got some life experience. I got a little New York, and I live in Miami, so you got to be able to handle yourself a little bit.
Let me ask you, Jeff.
Go ahead.
Because my buddy is trying to like play pro golf, and so he's been telling me all about this over the weekend.
Right.
And what do you think? If you were a golfer, would you play in the Saudi league, getting that big check?
I'm gonna break it down for you like this. If I was like an older dude, and by old in golf, I mean like 35, and I knew I wasn't gonna win a lot more on the tour, and they were like, yo, we'll give you 10 million north of that up front. Hell yeah, I would. See, this is the thing. The whole like, this is dirty money, this is clean money. That's all bullshit, right? Like USA takes money from Saudi Arabia, Disney, all these companies, Microsoft. You think Apple gives a shit that like Chinese children are sleeping in like the most inhumane?
No, it's all about profits.
They make these phones in 48 hours. If we had to make these in the United States, it would take 3 weeks.
Yeah.
So when people get sanctimonious about companies and things like that, I tune out because I'm talking to an invalid. I'm talking to a child. I feel like I'm talking to a little kid when an adult is trying to tell me they're moral. And that's why I hate the cancel culture. Those cancel culture people piss me off. They annoy me because they're always like, I'm going to decide who's good. I'm going to decide who's bad, and I'll let you know. Yeah. And they are looking at it from a very juvenile point of view. Elizabeth's asking me if we're going to talk about the morning trades. Hell yeah, Elizabeth, but this is our show. We're not here to serve you. This is not Burger King. I'm not doing it your way. We're doing it our way. There's other shows on Wealth Press where they just nerd out and they don't even
talk. They'll tell you about your favorite.
And they'll just show you, and we are part of it too. And they can do that, and you can watch that all day. But this show, if you don't like it, tough shit. This is how we're doing it.
To give you guys,
we're gonna get to the markets. The markets have been bad. They've been bad. We got a half hour to kill here, but we want to give you guys a little bit of it.
You got to warm it up. Put the chocolate chips in the cookie dough before we put it in the oven to eat. Okay, it takes 20 minutes to bake before you get to taste the good.
We've got plenty of guys that could show you a slideshow, and they can show you 0.6
show
down,
you a chart about.
You guys don't know what they're talking about anyways. You pretend like you do, but you don't know what they're talking about. You can watch that for 45 minutes, and then the market's still going to crash 3%. Or you could listen to us, have a little bit of fun. And have our morning and get into the markets, because that's what we're going to do. But I actually do want to get into the markets, because we had an unbelievably bullish day off the CPI. So we were here last week, right? We were here last week. And what do we say to y'all that were paying attention? We said, watch the CPI, because it's going to be
horrendous. And then the market's going to pop.
It's going to be, right? And so what happens? CPI came out massive. We were selling off all week, but even what's his name? Lloyd Blankfein said afterwards, this is one of these situations where you could watch, you could know what the number is going to be and lose money. Because we had 8.4% year over year inflation. I mean, Grandpa Joe was out eating ice cream cones saying the economy is awesome and there's no inflation. But do we believe that?
Yeah, and he was saying, hey, little girl, don't have a boyfriend till you're 30.
What the fuck? While he was stroking her back. But listen, the economy is bad. The stock market's been terrible all year. And Lance and
I thought we were in a bull market every week.
Lance and I have not been picking the bottom. We have not been picking the bottom. We've been trading, but we haven't been saying, well, this is the 4 stocks that are going to lead the, no, this is a bear market. This is a bear market, and the economy is lagging the stock market as it always does. And we're going to see the market start to rebound before the economy does, but we're just starting this economic malaise, so to speak, which I think could get nasty, dude. Nasty.
Yeah. What happens is when people pick bottoms, like everyone out there, even everyone has been trying to call the bottom since what? March, May? Like every
well, that used to be what you did. That used to be what you did, right? BTFT, buy the dip,
because it worked so many years. And then
that used to be what you did.
When the Fed's raising rates, people are thinking, for some reason, the most basic thing, hey, stocks are going to continue to go up, which they're not. And it happened all year, and people have been getting crushed because they own stocks. And when you're hoping that stocks are going to rebound, or there's a bottom, you're hopeless, basically. When you're hoping and dreaming, you're hopeless. So all that bottom fishing and picking a good stock or a sector, or this is the low, or looking at economic data, that's my big thing. People look at economic data and they say, like Jeff would go on, and me and Jeff are independent contractors, by the way. But Jeff would say,
yes, we are.
China's shit. China's the worst economy ever. China's all corrupt. And then what happened? China crashed. The US markets crashed, right?
Correct.
And people were like, no, it's good. The economic numbers are good here in America.
Right.
They're lagging all this data. That's why I tell you guys and girls, if you're reading like the unemployment and GDP.
Let me share the screen. Let's look at what we got to look at, some of this stuff. Let's keep talking about this, but I want to dig in a little bit here. So we have so the market made a 2-year low last week, right? But we have fun earnings. So
2-year low.
Dude, there are people that have been trying to tell me, like, if you're long only and you're just like trying to find places to hide on the long side,
where are you going to hide?
You either got to be super tactical and no levels, which we're going to look at in a second, or super short duration, super short term, like Lance and I do in some of our super active trading strategies, or have puts on all the time. I have a pairs trading strategy. I'm up this year 1100% or something like that in the options, because I'm always short and I'm always hedged, is what I'm saying. I had a target put that paid 800%.
Oh yeah, on the earnings sell-off.
Yeah, the link.
By the way, I'm buying, not maybe today, but Tuesday. Well, I'm going to buy some of the November, well, not November, probably whatever target earnings are. I'm buying target calls. Just a heads up ahead of earnings, everyone.
Say that again.
I'm buying target calls for earnings.
We're going to look at that, but let's look. What day is target?
I think they're not this week. I think they're later in the earnings cycle.
Retail comes a little bit later, but so this week we've got tomorrow. So we had BAC, we had BAT. You hate bank earnings, but they were strong. And we said market, the stock's moving 2%. It's not going to move 10%.
You do. Yeah. You're not going to make money in calls when it's
listen, Lance is like a younger version of me before I had my 3 coronary bypass surgeries and all that going to the EKG. There are old traders and there are bold traders, but there are no old bold traders.
I'm going to do iron condors for earnings and risk $90 to make 10.
So we got
I'm not.
I know you're not. So we have Netflix. Let's look at Netflix. Netflix is coming out tomorrow, right? And you guys all see this, right? You're seeing this?
Yeah.
My screen? Okay.
Yep.
So what are we looking at? We're looking at, no, that's not what I want to say. I don't want
They canceled the
I want to see the volatility on this thing.
Oh, it's a huge. I think last time I looked, it's implying like a $27 move, the at the money straddle.
$27.
I want to say it was either that or Tesla. I was looking at these all Friday. I'm doing a class actually this week on earnings.
Are you really?
Yeah. So don't steal my thunder.
No, I want you to give us I want you to give us a little like pre-thunder, like fart a little bit on this thing.
pull up the weekly options on it.
Let me just show you one thing here real fast. It's going to show you what the anticipated move is, and then we'll look at the market.
Oh, there it is.
The market.
Yeah.
But look at this. 12.6% average implied one-day move.
Why are people making fun of my hair and telling me I look like a circus clown? Listen, girls love my hair right now. Well, I don't know about right now, but
you got to have thick skin, Lance. If you listen to what everyone on the internet tells you, you'd be crazy at this point.
Yeah, listen, I haven't got a haircut anything in weeks. It's great. I'm going back in the cave. All right.
So these guys upside surprised, right? Like, so Netflix has they've had a habit of pre-warning. They've been telling everybody, earnings are going to be shit. We don't have enough people joining us, blah, blah, blah. We all know this. This is common knowledge. That's why the stocks, this was a $400 stock trading around 230. It was, right? Yeah. So it's done a 50%er. But if we look at the last, 4 earnings, they've been surprising on the upside.
Yeah.
But look at this price change. On not the last quarter, they had a 35%. This is what they've done in one day, bro. This was a one-day move after earnings.
That was the big gap down. Remember? Yeah.
So this is a don't try this at home, kids type of thing, right? This is a stock you can't just like play with. You can't just be a tourist in that name, can you?
No, or you're going to get crushed. But I will say, Netflix has been holding.
You want to share the screen and look at some of the options?
Can you just pull it up? I have my toss on my trading machine in the other room. I don't want to
hold on a second.
Move it.
I don't have my account open. Just bear with me 1 second.
No, we'll steal your account info and trade.
Yeah, you got to be careful here because everyone is here is a little bit.
Yeah. So what I did is after Netflix earnings last quarter, when it gapped down that 35%, I bought like 40 G's worth of stock. Like this is, like I in my like retirement account. So I'm pretty long Netflix. I'm actually up money in it. Thank God. I think I'm up like a few grand.
Am I still on share mode?
Yeah, you're still on share. I still see your screen.
Take it over for 1 second.
All right. I actually like Netflix.
Okay. Oh, I have it. Stop share. Yeah.
Oh, you got it?
Yeah.
I actually like it to the long side. So yeah, obviously that's why I put money in it. But I think they did a couple of big things last week. They added like a $5.99 commercial. So they're just running commercials.
I saw that.
They canceled all the woke boys too. All the shows where they were, doing like the for the woke people. The CEO came out and said, "Hey, if you have a problem with our, of us not going back to that, like what Disney did, where Disney was canceling everything," he said, "You can leave," because they were having employees walk out.
Kind of like I just said.
Yeah, he's like, "You can leave." Ever since he said that, the stock's been actually holding up really well. That's crazy as that sounds. And maybe that will be the turnaround for Disney, because Disney's been in the trash can too.
All right, let's go.
What do you have now?
Disney.
I bought some tea in Warner Bros.
Okay, so what are we looking at? We're looking at Netflix. And
God, look at that implied vol.
You can't trade this. I mean, this is 4 days out.
Okay, so the at the money calls are about $13.
You want to see November or October here?
October. I ain't buying no November options. Shit.
Want to look at the weeklies?
Yeah, the most 4 days. So the October monthlies, the 235 calls are 1275.
Yeah, and the stock is implied what right now?
Why are the puts so expensive? There's a big put skew to the downside.
Yeah.
Wow, look at the puts.
Been crashing.
Pricey.
Yeah.
So you know why the puts are pricey? It's because the market makers, what do people usually buy on earnings? Most people are long stock. So puts are going to be more expensive. Yeah. So it's like you live on the water in Florida. Your home insurance is going to be more expensive than if you live in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
right?
there's a reason, right? They've been long the stock for a while. Even at $235, they're going to pay taxes on selling it. They don't want to deal with that this year.
Right. So they're going to run it by puts. Puts are going to be pricey. And look at last quarter. What happened? Huge gap down 35%. So the market makers are saying, look, you want to buy puts, we're going to charge you a lot because
we're talking Target. Let's look at Target real quick.
Yeah, let's look at Target.
This stock's not tradable at that with that kind of implied volatility. That's something you can learn at home, kids. You get that right and you get no money. You get that wrong and you get taken. That was a 35% move in 2 quarters ago in that. So we've got implied vol about 12. You could get a crazy move and be wrong on it and lose all your money. If you're right, you're not going to make nearly as much. So you have a very skewed risk reward on that trade. Right. That's not a trade. So we're looking at Target, which is what, 147.60 right now. These are so they're not releasing earnings like in this week. So
they do. Someone mentioned in the chat when earnings are the 16th of November. Oof.
Okay, so let's look at November 18th.
There we go. So you're looking. I mean, it's not horrible yet. You probably get Walmart in the meantime, right?
Walmart's well, if we look at this. So if we look at, I like to think of it like this. So if we look at, let's look at the chart of Target.
It's like the worst chart ever.
Yeah, that's a 1 minute chart. Let me look at a daily.
Pull up like a daily. Yeah.
So if we were buying those calls that were like what, $7 at 150 or something like that. Yeah. I mean, this stock gets good news. It's going to trade back up in this level.
175, 180.
That's what I'm saying. So if we go back and we look at, let's go back and look at these 155 call.
Yeah, they're $5.
They're $5.
So you need the stock to go to 170 to get a triple.
Yes.
Oof. I mean, you might be able to play an earnings run up. So let's say you buy the 155 calls. Let's say the market rallies the next, till November expiration, or at least Target rallies. Right. Maybe you buy those calls for $5. You start scaling out around $7, $8, and then you hold maybe a couple contracts in earnings. Because implied vol should rise. Yeah. As earnings approach. So as long as the stock doesn't tank, so the market's going to have to hold. I mean, it's a decent risk versus reward setup. I'm not a huge fan of buying expensive options, but it is Target and it is $150 stock, so you're kind of forced to.
So if we look, I hate when I have this set up. I have to get out of my trading setup because I don't have a good view. So I move out my computer, so it all jumbles up there. But if we let's look at like what else could move. I mean, let's look at some levels here, right? So we're getting a bounce today in the NASI. Let's look at NASDAQ future, NDX, NDA.
The NASDAQ. Miss Kathy Woods begging the Fed.
Somebody was asking me like, why don't you look at why are you so bad at, like, why are you so down on the Dow? I'm like, the Dow doesn't even have Amazon in it.
Why would anyone trade the Dow?
The Dow is 30 arbitrary stocks. It's so bizarre. And it's like, if the Dow was the most important index in the United States, it would be the liquid future that everybody trades. And it trades nothing on the future.
No one looks at the Dow.
Everybody trades S&Ps. They trade a little bit of NAS. But look at this thing. Look how oversold this thing is. Look at the moving average here. Look at the 50-day moving average. Nearly 1,000 points higher. Look at the full 10%, the 50-day.
Well, that's what happens when you get freaking 5-6% intraday moves. You could have a rip your face off rally.
That every time it seems like we get super stretched. So what was that? That was 1366, and down here we were at super stretched. You get these rallies back that get it closer to the moving average. And then we crossed in July, right? And now every time we get oversold, we try to come back. We haven't really tried to come back, and it's getting really stretched,
A way to play, what you could do, this is a good chart here. You could play, what's the at the money calls and the Qs? Pull them up. So let's say you don't want to play Tesla and Netflix because they're too expensive, like we were saying with the huge implied moves this week. You could play the Qs, especially if the options aren't too expensive. pull up like the October monthly Qs. I know they have all those weird expirations. I mean, so what, the 265 calls are about what, 320?
Yeah.
It's not that bad, to be honest.
No.
I mean, maybe you don't buy them at the open because the NASDAQ futures are a bit up.
Well, that's
maybe
what I was trying to show you. If we
Yeah.
get a real rally, a sustainable rally, the NASDAQ's not going to rally 1%, 2%. It's going to be like 6 to 10% in a week, in my opinion. That fast in a matter of days. So a 6% move on 200 and, or let's say a 5% to be fair, on $265 be what? $12 from here. So $275. So you buy a 265. That's a triple.
That's a triple. I mean, shit, you could buy the 270 calls for $1, let's say $1.60.
That's it.
Flip them at $4 or $5 if you get it. I mean, you're going to have to need Netflix to beat and rally and Tesla to shock the world.
But this is what we're playing here. We're playing home run derby, kids. That's what we're doing.
Yeah. I mean, or you could go out to the October 24th. Obviously you're going to pay a little bit more, but then you start getting some big tech earnings in there too. I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not super bullish on like Apple and Microsoft. I know a lot of people love those stocks and they hold them and they're losing their ass, but I like the crazy names. So I like the
what?
The crazy stocks, the honey badgers, the Netflix, the Teslas. I just think those stocks can move. They're not like Apple, which everyone owns and is like dependent on cell phones, or like NVIDIA or Intel, or kind of like the boring old tech stocks. I feel like Netflix is still like a big mover. I mean,
let's look at Kathy. Let's see what this woman's done while we're still here. We only have a few minutes left here. I know you guys could watch us for another 20 minutes. We'd probably have to charge you for that. But
oh, you know what? Another name I like actually is Amazon. Amazon is now a nice move.
ARK's up 4% pre-market. Wow.
Yeah. Well, Kathy was only down last week, like 10%. So she needs a little rebound in her life.
Dude, but that's the thing. I'm looking for proportionality in rebounds. People make the mistake of saying, okay, now I know this is a bearish stock. I'm going to be shorting this stock, like Kramer said, on the first green day, or selling out of my long on the first green day.
Did they launch the new Kramer ETF yet?
I don't know what it is. No, that's kind of corny for me. I don't know. That's too corny for me. What you were saying, Amazon, right?
Yeah, I actually like Amazon, especially it's been crushed.
Someone's asking me if implied volatility is good for a long call or a put. It's good if it goes higher. If volatility goes higher, it's bad if the problem with high implied volatility on calls is typically when you get the stocks moving north, volatility comes down, which eats at some of your returns.
Right. So that's why you'll never see me say, hey guys, trade this very pricey option, because what happens is, let's say you buy like a $12 option, right?
Yeah.
And you buy, let's say November, and the stock moves, right?
Yeah.
But let's say the next few days, the stock moves up a little bit, maybe like 0.5%, 1%. As the stock rallies, especially bottom fishing, which is, when you buy a really bad chart, implied volatility is really high. So the price of calls and puts are expensive. As the stock, even if it rallies, so that's good for your call, volatility will come down. So
eating at some of that return,
is going to go down in value. So if you ever bought a stock or a call option and the stock goes in your direction, but the option doesn't move or goes lower, it's implied volatility crush. That's why I'm just not a huge fan of bottom fishing, inexpensive options.
Agreed. Because invariably, they've already priced in insanity and what's expected. You have to find situations that you have to find a little bit of black swanish type of action to really make money, which requires what? Cojones, the word of the day. But we are turning into pumpkins because the market's about to open, and I actually trade, and so does Lance. And I want to look at the stock market.
I got the computer.
I don't want to talk. He's like, keep going. Do you guys love this stuff or what? Do you like this show? Are you guys ready to crush the open?
Yeah,
are you juiced up a little bit? Are you juiced up on a little bit on a Monday morning, or do you want to go back to bed, take a nap, wake up, and watch some boring ass show for 45 minutes? I think you're juiced up. I think this is the format that I like the best, because this is what trading is. Trading is like sports, man. You got to get juiced. You got to get that adrenaline going, right? Right, Lance?
You got to. And every day, like we don't come in here with an agenda. We'll be honest with you. We have no agenda at all. No one tells us what to say, obviously. No. But every day is something new, right? When you're trading.
Yeah.
And that's the way it is. You have to adapt every day. You have to trade the market in front of you. I'll say that like a million times, but it's true. You have to trade the market in front of you. And we just got the open. All right, peace. I'm out.
Thank you guys. Like and subscribe. I think we gave you some meat. You might have laughed. You might hate us. You might hate me after this. I'm fine with that. I'm completely okay with that. But I want you guys to at least come back and watch this show again. And I want you guys to trade with a plan. I don't want you guys to react, panic, be, you know what, the B words out there. LFG guys, take it to the week, attack the market. Don't be a victim. And we'll see you again next Monday to be ready to crush the open. That's what we're going to be doing. That's what we do. So sign up, subscribe, come back. We'll see you next week.
Leave a comment, eat some chicken wings. I'm trading and I'm out.
All right. Peace. Take care, guys. Happy trading. Good luck.
I don't need it. I'm already making money. Ooh, I'm up a lot of dough.